You're on the other side of the camera now.
It's quite different.
Click subscribe now before we start. What's up guys, today we have a very special guest on the channel. This man needs no introduction here on the tube. It's the famous golf sidekick. What a player. Today I will be bringing him around SIDEKICK'S West Course, so let's see how he does on his very first time out here. Over here he's going with a driver for the very first hole, which is a narrow par 5. What do you guys think over here? Driver is the play? Maybe not after that shot tracer. Listen to this next clip though.
This is not very smart actually, because that's not a great line. Maybe I'll take a 5 iron.
The original club that he picked up was a 4 iron. So although the difference between a 4 and a 5 iron might not be that big, the difference comes mentally with what you're comfortable with. Hitting the shot that you're comfortable with the club that you're most comfortable with, will make a difference with your results. And over here, although the 4 and 5 might not be a big difference with loft and degree, if he's more comfortable with 5, it will definitely produce a better result. After the layup, he had about 135 yards left, but with the bunker in front and the uphill slope, he decided he was going to hit an 8 iron high cut, which would go about 150 yards. The right kind of thinking you would assume a 5 handicapper would have.
Ooh, you did it. Yeah.
After a perfect approach, he had this little putt here for birdie. Let's just put in disclaimers that we did not have time to set foot on the putting green before, so we were definitely contemplating the speed. But that was a good birdie charge for the first hole. Just a little tap in par, we'll take that. The next hole that we had was a par 3 playing 175 yards today. Over here he's going for half 7. As you can tell, there's a lot of water up front, so good distance is important.
Oh yeah. Ooh, birdie time.
What a shot, man!
This was a putt for birdie, and one thing I'm noticing immediately is the pre-shot routine has completely changed from the first hole. Over here he's going behind the ball, and previously he just went 2 putting strokes right before and then straight up to the putt. So let's see how that progresses over the round. Still a great putt and a par in the second. The third hole is a par 4 and he was playing forwards today, so the distance wasn't as long, so I told him he just needed enough distance to carry those bunkers and it would be downhill and he'll have a great shot. Over here he was trying to use this hybrid, which is the first time he's using it, and I'm sorry but shot tracer couldn't even trace that shot. It went pretty far left. So we actually ended up going left enough that he was on the other fairway and had a wide open shot, so he's still at 210 and this was his shot with a 4 iron.
Did you say your ultimate nightmare shot?
Ultimate nightmare. 40 yards, uphill, no green to work with a brand new wedge. Not easy.
Although that's not the most positive thinking, obviously sometimes you just have to be realistic. This is a brand new wedge, he's never hit with it, he doesn't know how it's going to react, so it might not produce the best shot. As golfers, we all know that short game is basically a lot of practice. Of course there's technique to it, but practice plays a big part with your feel, which is important in the short game. So we can't blame people when they have lack of short game practice and aren't as confident in their shots. But at the end of the day, all you have to do is lower your expectations. That doesn't mean not trying to make the shot, but just simply don't get angry if you miss a green or don't hit the best chip, you know? Sometimes that happens. So we'll take a bogey here after that tee shot and it's an acceptable score. Next up we have a par 4. It's playing pretty short today, so we just went here with a 3-wood just to get it in play somewhere out there. We know he's not going to have a long club in, so it doesn't really matter what you hit here. You can basically hit whatever club you're most confident with.
Don't follow me.
As we said, he wasn't going to have a long club in. It was only a 112 yard shot here and he was using a 50 degree. So since I spoke about pre-shot routine, you can tell that with his full shots it's very much more consistent. It's fast once he steps up to the ball, it's efficient, but there are elements to it. So let's see what he does with this putt over here. This time he does not go behind the ball, he just goes right to the ball, takes one practice stroke and goes for his putt. Of course, it's not the most important. Some people are different, they like to feel, so they take as many practice strokes as they need to get the right feel, which is fine, but you should have a similar concept. He's sometimes reading it from the back and sometimes from the side, which can give a different perception when you're putting. So it might help Matt to get a better pre-shot routine over his putting strokes, and as we know, for single handicappers, every stroke counts, so this could make a difference. Next up, this is a placement hole, water down the left side and bunkers down the right. He's just going for easy 6 iron here.
Nice.
After a good easy tee shot, he had 139 yards and he's hitting a pitching wedge here. This is a pretty tough green to hit, especially with the pin position and the placement. You don't want to go over and you don't want to go short, so you do need to get good distance here, and he did that well and caught a picture perfect moment right there. And here we have him with another attempt at birdie. So far he's only got birds on his shirt but not on his scorecard yet, so let's see if he can catch this one. Really good looking stroke right there, going straight at it but just not enough power. He seems to be reading the greens really well, and he said that he actually loves Bermuda grass, which is what he's used to. So I think with a little bit more practice with speed control out here at TPC West, he would be able to get a lot more birdies. Today he would have made about 3 already. Next up is a par 3, 155 yards, and he's going for full 9 iron. After that good shot, we have another birdie attempt here, which is what we like to see. Obviously, the more chances you give yourself a birdie, the more chances you're gonna make it. So that's always a good sign. Even if it's a day where the putter is not hot, you know that you could have easily saved a lot of shots just by putting. So next up, what do you have to do? Work on your putting. Over there was just a misread, but I know I keep going back to the pre-shot routine, but just a little observation, the last 2 times that he actually stood behind the ball rather than above the ball and take a practice stroke below the ball, he actually hit 2 putts that were offline, which was on the 10th hole and this hole, whereas the other holes, they were straight on line, just the wrong speed. So if it was me, I would recommend that he hit practice putts over the ball rather than behind, because I think he might change his perception a little bit, and that's why he hits better putts when he practices over the ball, because at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong pre-shot routine, and it's all up to your personal preference. Next up, we have another short par 4, but as you can tell, water down the entire left side. What we want to do here is hit a club that we're comfortable with and swing freely. He went with a 4 iron. For his second shot, he only had 70 yards and he was hitting a 54-degree wedge. So I was making fun of him and kind of asking him, is he going to hit with that sign in front of him? And then after that, he decided, no, now he's thinking about it because I pointed it out and he took it off. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't do. They find things that are uncomfortable to them, or sometimes they take the wrong club and they're like, you know what, it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna go try and make do with what I have. But that often leads to bad shots, so if there's something in your way, get it out of the way. If it is a movable obstruction and you can get it out of your way, of course, but trust me, you'll thank yourself later. So he didn't hit the best shot there, but still on the green with a look for birdie, so no big deal. Let's see what he does with this putt and whether he can finally catch a birdie.
Get there.
And he hit it short again.
Short again.
We have another short par 4 over here. He's just hitting a 6 iron. If you can't tell, there's actually a little hazard going through in the entire fairway, so you want to hit it to the left side or the right side. But the most important thing, just because a hole is short does not mean it's easy. There's obviously a lot of hazards in the previous holes and over here as well, and he almost hit it into the hazard. So the most important thing is to swing freely. Just because you have a 6 iron in your hand, if you don't swing freely, you can still get into trouble. So as you can see, this is the hazard that I was talking about. He had 99 yards, playing 105. He was using a 54-degree wedge. And let's talk about what he just did over there. So when you're not confident over a shot, or you're thinking about something else, or you're not confident with a decision, go back and change your club. I know sometimes it might seem like a hassle. Over here it's perfect because our buggy is right next to our balls, so it's not too difficult for us to change our clubs or do stuff like that. But sometimes we get lazy because we have to walk back to the cart path, then take more than one club. It's always best to hit the shot that you're committed to. And there's nothing worse than standing over a ball already knowing that you're not going to hit a good shot.
That could be good.
Beat the club. Yep. It looks good.
Great caddy.
After a great shot, there's nothing worse than going up to the green and not being able to find your ball. Obviously, this was just a really rare occurrence. We don't really know how it happened, but the ball landed like 3 feet in front of the green, in front of the pin, and somehow it just bounced into the water over the back. So clearly the green there was a lot harder than the other greens. So that's something that just local course knowledge would give you, and something that you won't really know as your first time playing on this course. So it's fine. He has to take a bigger score than he thought he was going for. Obviously, he thought he was going for a birdie, ended up making a bogey. But sometimes you gotta take what you get, you know? With golf, there's so many variables that you can't control. You just have to have a positive attitude about it. And I like that he was very positive about it. He was like, you know, I'm out here playing my bucket list course. It's great. There's nothing to worry about. And he even mentioned, he was like, you know, when I was younger, something like that would just have killed my game. I would have just been so depressed about it for the rest of the round. And we all know this actually, but we all just sometimes aren't able to process it in the moment in time because we're so caught up in ourselves thinking about, oh, that was such terrible luck, why did that happen to me? And you get so upset and it just compounds and it gets worse. So sometimes we just have to take a step back, take a breather and realize, I mean, we're out here playing golf, there are a lot of worse things that could be happening right now. So anyway, let's go on to the last hole of this 9 before I ramble on forever. This is a par 5 and he's hitting a driver.
Bombed it.
I don't even go that far on holiday.
Let's see it.
Or tree wood. I was thinking about hitting the driver off the deck, but if it's in the rough, I hit the driver.
Did you just say tree wood?
Tree wood.
Say it again.
Tree wood.
Why are you saying it like a Malaysian?
Because I've been here for a few months
You said
now.
tree wood.
Tree wood.
So Golf Sidekick is officially Malaysian, guys. So if you guys didn't get that joke, in Malaysia we don't really pronounce TH. So 3 sometimes just comes out as tree. So tree wood instead of 3 wood. And I got made fun of so much in college for saying tree wood. So now I officially say 3 wood. So let's move on. He's hitting 274 yards with a 3 wood, guys.
It's okay though. Nothing up there.
See it?
You'll be fine. What club you got there?
Got the 60, right? But I'm worried it's gonna just go underneath it and push it into the bunker.
I would not open the face that much.
Really? Eh?
Yeah. Because your main goal here is getting over that bunker, right? And you got quite a bit of green to work with.
And
So-
I go backstop.
Yeah, you got that backstop right there.
My camera.
Yeah. Straight at it and ricochet back to the hole.
Okay. My heart's beating fast. You see that, you man? What are you doing, player? That's exactly what I said is going to happen.
I think we will always be nervous over certain shots, especially when it's difficult shots. So my best piece of advice is just pick a shot, pick a club, pick a target and just go. Don't think too much about it. And don't spend too much time over it because you'll get more nervous.
Let's go.
Come on. Come on. No, you didn't hit it again.
Oh my gosh. You got the lines all so good.